Hi, everybody. This is day 1,500 and no, 1,651 days. And we are burning the midnight oil. Cannot be helped because, justice is in the air, and it's going to get a little crazy. It really is because, um, you know, when when those that commit such egregious crime, like in our son's case, 1,651 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered on Fort Bliss in the line of duty, right? With ongoing and active investigations into this enormous case that we have been, reporting on, documenting, getting leads, investigating, filing on everything that we have found for over 4 years. And I can tell you, and those that have been following absolutely know that I'm not over exaggerating when I'm saying it's up to 30 agencies. There's no other case like this. There's no other case that there is a live press briefing every day, right? Every day. So, some days there's two. There was many days where I did two a day. And it's just, the level of deception and the level of, let's speak in terms of the Bible, transgression, the transgression against our family, right? Um, from from the moment it all happened, the deception turned into a transgression. And it, was clearly seen at the dog and pony show they called the task force find Richard Halliday, right? Where you had over 15 agencies there. The enormous amount of money was just uh, uh, for this deception, for this transgression against our family was apparent. And no op board and no uniforms. And where are the promised press conferences, the press releases, press why don't they do a press conference? They were supposed to do a press conference every month. They told us, they promised us, we're going to do a press conference every month or press release every month until your son is found. And that was a lie. He didn't do it. The command of Fort Bliss didn't do it, and that they should have done it. And so we have been doing it every day, every day. And, if what we're saying is not right over the X, finding the truth, I mean, of course, with their help, we could have found the truth quicker, but because they were in the middle of the fallout of the Vanessa Guillen finding of her remains. See, they would cover up, and I believe they still have. I don't think all of the real truth about her death is out there. And the reason why I say that is not because of me, is because of what her mother has said, because of what Vanessa Guillen's mother has reported, and I believe Vanessa Guillen's mother. And she does not feel like, uh, from what I heard, and she can correct me. From what I heard, she doesn't feel like there's been total justice. Okay, and but the fallout was when they found Vanessa's Guillen's remains. That is what caused the fallout. And the same chain of command, the Force Com, Michael Garrett, was Richard's general also. The same general. And that was up to no good. He's up to no good it's so bad. It's egregious no good. Okay. And so we know this. This is absolutely what evidence um, absolutely shows. And I can say evidence indicates. Um, and if Michael Garrett, you know, who I have said needs to face the death penalty for his egregious actions in these cases, um, uh, then he should hold a press conference, right? He should absolutely make some statements to clarify things, right? And he has the power more so than what our family has, more so what the Guillaume family has. He has the power and he has the eyes of the military, right? He has, that kind of clout. And if he was for the military, he would come out with a statement. But his egregious actions are so evident that he has to take the fifth. He has to take the fifth. And this is, and he's not the only one. It's many others. Um and it's a group. It's a group. Um and I don't and it's not the whole military. Um but it is a group that need to be identified. We have identified them, and they need to be stripped of their ability to continue their rotten, stinky criminal activities. And we're funding them. We give them the benefits. Why should criminals get benefits when they have done us so harm? What, we have to fund them and their fancy homes and their medical care and everything like that when they absolutely have committed the worst egregious crimes against our country, against our military? And this goes to and because um he's not the only one, right? um let's look at Tavita Nusa, because our evidence indicates that he was this very strong, capable CID agent trained to face the worst of the worst type of crimes. And then, right after July 2020, things went downhill for him. Now, he's been identified as a prime suspect in the murder of our son's case. In our son's case, he's been identified as confessing to hurting Richard. He's been identified as giving access to Leilani Hart, who he was a family member of, but also that didn't keep him from receiving very intimate um, favors from. And he gave unauthorized access. This is what the evidence indicates. This is what we have been asking that needs to be. We have a witness, right? Right? We have a whistleblower, um, and so that uh, really, because of no answers to that. And here he goes downhill. He goes downhill so fast that they have to take away his badge, that he is separated from the military. But yet evidence indicates that he gets VA benefits, that he gets benefits for being a criminal, while other people have to pay their property taxes. Um, he gets a break from it. I mean, this is and right after Richard, and not only him, but that Leilani Hart is also been identified as a prime suspect in the murder case of our son, and she gets huge benefits while others pay their property taxes. She gets a break from it while she is a convicted criminal, while she is uh, a prime suspect in this case, while she is the mother of Dallas Hart. Please don't tell me that Dallas Hart also gets these benefits. Please don't tell me that Dallas Hart, mentally or whatever went down the drain after July of 2020 also, because he was also separated from the military. And please don't tell me that Edwin Sissonet, who was also separated from the military, also gets, uh, you know, all of these benefits and breaks. And what about Poche, the unreliable source? David Poche, the unreliable source. Please don't tell me that he gets all of these benefits and breaks when he's an unreliable source that has absolutely intentionally interfered in our son's murder case. And, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Because please don't tell me that Deliris Montanez gets all of these benefits with these breaks. Please don't tell me that she gets that. And that there are conflicts of it, that there are more common denominators. That there are more common denominators that evidence indicates red flags should be planted everywhere with this group that are the suspects in the murder case of our son. And so, tomorrow we got breaking news, and tomorrow the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, is, and I didn't turn this on, I should have. It's just been such an exciting uh, night with all the information coming in and trying to figure out how we're going to fit all this in. But, God provides and it all works out because justice is coming, right? And then we got this. Thank you. Sending loves and prayers and strength. Thank you. I see that now. And thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Anicia. Love, thoughts, and prayers for justice. Thank you. Where is Ted Cruz after the PAO told him to take a hike off Fort Bliss? Well, that was the Secretary of the Army that said that to him. And she's like 26 levels lower, steps lower than him, being a subordinate to him in massive degrees. And yeah, so where is Ted Cruz? Yeah. Um, it's that tells you the level of this case. This case is it's hard for any media to cover, isn't it? Because they know that we're right, that we've been right all along, and now accountability is coming. Justice is in the air, and we're really praying. Please pray really hard for Secretary of Defense Hegseth as he travels today, since it is now 12:19 a.m. here. So he'll be traveling today to go to El Paso, Texas, to go to Fort Bliss. Fort Bliss, the epicenter of the criminal trafficking, the hundreds of thousands of taken children that were trafficked and processed through Fort Bliss. So they were brought up through the border, crossing over into El Paso, then processed by taxpayer dime through Fort Bliss, registered with numbers on their clothes or numbers on their skin, and then taken out. And evidence indicates some of those through the Santa Teresa jet port, the international jet port. Um, and where did they go? Right? They were supposed to go into the interior. Are they being found there? Were they taken back out? Um, so this is what our investigation is revealing, um, is criminal trafficking, human trafficking, weapons and ammunition trafficking. And I say the ammunition because the ammunition is huge, because and those M4s, are not any good unless you have those brown tip bullets, those green tip bullets, and the brown tip bullets, and I believe the green tip bullets also, but I definitely remember uh, confirmation that the brown tip bullets are special forces. They're not registered, so they are prime to traffic. Um, and so, those guns are nothing without those bullets, and truckloads of them already have been, it's been in the news. And then lately, when the South Korean uh, President Yoon, had the 6 hour, um, what do you call it, martial law, which he has been impeached for now. It's just crazy what's going on. But during those 6 hours, that same time period, um, in California, from Texas, items from Texas, military uniforms, military, I don't, I just say all kinds of military grade supplies were trying to be trafficked, sent by these tactical move storage units to North Korea. So, uh, and they were from Texas. So, yeah, and that was uh, by an illegal alien who had violated their student visa. So that, there's story after story that, when you start putting it together, the trafficking is, absolutely billions and billions of dollars. And so when you look at what President Trump has been doing with the tariffs, with the stopping the funding, when you have funding that is creating these huge deficits, right? Because of political, I would call it political, it seems like investigation reveals it looks like political bribes, right? Political bribes. Quid pro quo, right? Quid pro quo, is that what they call it? Um, so pay for play. And, you know, when you have an economy that is ran by a criminal syndicate, um, then there's no justice. So if you're wondering, why do we have such a problem with our justice system, right? With the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, with the DA, the El Paso DA, with the chief medical examiner, with, you know, why do we have such a problem getting uh, the law obeyed, right, and applied, and absolutely these criminals being accountable? It's because the huge amounts of the economy was being run by a criminal syndicate. It's billions of dollars. And so, of course, if you are going to stop that, you have to stop the flow of money. So you have to stop the flow of funds that were instituted to drive this criminal group, and then the tariffs to be able to control the border, what's going in and out, and you do that with tariffs, of course. So it's everything that President Trump has been doing. It seems like it is totally laser focused on Fort Bliss. Even this Panama, right? Because they use the Panama Canal for the trafficking, right? If you want to move, you have to move things with ships. If you want to move these tactical move storage units, these big storage, um, yeah, I'm so used to using the military term. You're going to use them by ship, and then with the FAA, how he has come out with that, because if I'm thinking that this whole DEI thing was just a way to get compromised individuals in there. If you have those that are not as qualified, and they are qualified for on a different standard, then and they want to keep their job, right? And they don't have the standards to really compete for that job, then they're easily compromised, right? No one's really talking about that. At least I haven't heard about it. They're talking about the competency problem of it, but they're not talking about the being easily compromised so that they could keep these cushy jobs. So let's look the other way. If our cargo is not kosher, right? If the cargo is not legal, if the cargo um, may carry Richard's remains. If who is flying, who is doing these manifests, so you have to control the airports, the flights coming in and out, the information, and also at the ships, the shipyards. What bigger one is there? Like, I mean, the Panama Canal is huge, right? So, it's all about this doorway into the United States, which is El Paso. It is El Paso, and Fort Bliss being the open purse, right? The defense open purse. And Richard, just he always was the observer. And if you look at pictures, and I've tried to put up as many pictures as I've could, and videos. I need to put up more videos of him. He was an observer, and he, being the guidon bearer, he heard, he observed, and he documented, and he reported. He reported. Um, he wanted to be CID, right? He wanted to be uh, a law enforcement officer. And so he reported. And do I think that he understood the the vastness of this operation and the amount of money that that's involved here, that they would actually kill if you reported them? I, you know, I don't think he understood the vast, because I didn't, but I do think he understood the danger. And that's what makes him such a courageous hero, is because he told us it was very bad, it was so bad. And but I don't know if he knew that the infiltration into the very important, vital positions to allow this to happen, that it had developed in such a cabal that was within our own system. I don't think he knew the vastness of that. And, it just spread like crazy, spread like a cancer because it was made so much fast, easy money. Um, but it's like hell, right? It just leads to hell. It's just a terrible, terrible thing. Um, so many deaths and so many ruined families and so many ruined individuals. It's been a terrible price, and you still see the gnashing of teeth, the people that still want this kind of criminal activity, um, especially those that are on top that don't want it. You saw it with the hearings for um, Secretary of Defense Hegseth. You see it in other hearings. You just see it's just everything becomes much more visible when you understand what has been going on. And I'm going through this for 4 years. We've been forced to see it. We've been forced to see it. So when people don't understand, have a lot of patience with them because, um, it's not kind to you when you find out the level of betrayal here. Um, it really is very, very hurtful. And especially when you're a Go Army person, right? Especially um, when your son is killed by his own. Those that were supposed to have his back, those that were supposed to uh, protect him. And, you know, um, the thing is, there is no disagreement that they absolutely covered this up. The evidence is absolutely solid that they um, colluded together to cover up our son's murder. That there is just no, the evidence is out there already. And you see, that's why we have uh, the declaration of death, and that's why we have in the line of duty. And they're trying to wrap it up, and we're not letting them. They're trying to put it in some kind of, just wrap up this. It's like getting a candy out of a box that you didn't really like, and you just wrap it up and just want to, you gotta cover it up. You don't want it. You don't want it. Um, they don't want people to see it, and they have absolutely did whatever they could to shadow ban and to cover this up. That's just absolutely obvious. But time has changed. And when President Trump won, and he absolutely remembers Glendon Oakley Jr., he knows about the Walmart mass shooting case. He'll never forget that Veronica Escobar refused to meet with him after that. He'll never forget when Ernest Christopher Grant was arrested in the White House by his Secret Service, and that his mother was there, right? Ernest's mother was, he'll never forget that. He'll never forget meeting with Veronica Escobar's mother. Um, and he has not forgotten about Richard, because Richard was in communication with Washington, D.C. Richard was in communication with FBI Houston. Richard was in communication with the IG, with CPS. He was in communication. And there were audits, there were ongoing investigations, and there still is ongoing and active investigations. And so you're going to see some clawing, some gnashing of teeth, and this latest thing with all of the lies that Deliris Montanez has told us. She is a pilot and she is a Veterans Administration agent. And she absolutely is tied to Leilani Hart, absolutely is tied to um, this whole case, this whole case. And, it's and yesterday when I talked about Yvonne Rosales, that was so interesting. And I think I might take a minute to tell you that again, because our investigation indicates that it seems like James Montoya is not installed properly. So the rightful district attorney may still be Yvonne Rosales. Now, how can that be? Well, you have to install properly. Even if you are duly elected um, like Montoya is, Mr. Montoya is duly elected. Bill Hicks was not. Bill Hicks was a recess appointment. But still, you have to take the oath of office. But before you take that oath of office, you have to swear, you have to sign that you did not take a bribe to get there. Okay, that's a Texas Constitution law. I believe it's Article 16, Section 1 um, of the Texas Constitution. And please read it. He needs to sign the anti bribe line, which is called the Statement of Officer, before he takes the oath of office. And something does not seem right. Our investigation is getting a lot of questions back, a lot of well, where is it? What's going on here? Um, and we have a lot of inquiries put in to get to the bottom of this, and you would think that they would try to get to the bottom of this really, really quick if it was a no-brainer, if it was a nothing burger, but it seems to be a something burger. It seems to be something fishy going on. And so there is a chance in our investigation that Yvonne Rosales is still the duly elected district attorney because Bill Hicks was never. So the uh, the requirements by the Texas Constitution would say that the last district attorney, even if they resigned, it doesn't matter. They still have to be held over until you get a new district attorney that is legal. And so there's a real possibility she's still the district attorney. Um, I think that is really a lot to think about, and we have more coming tomorrow. What we hope that Secretary of the Army Hegseth is going to be doing there in Fort Bliss. Just pray, pray that what we have been in communication about is going to happen. And we do have a demand that Leilani Hart is arrested. Because no matter how you look at it, she has to be arrested. Her crimes are just so documented. See, they are so documented. Um, so she has to be arrested. So we'll see. Of course, we want our son's remains. That's that's the top one. We want our son's remains. So thank you so much. God bless you, and I will be